Hey guys, so today you and I are gonna talk about quitting your programming job. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Hi Frederick, my dad just quit his senior software engineering job, to start a restaurant instead of working at one of the top IT companies. He said that I shouldn't start to program without any passion like he did for years. Do you think that he's right about that? I think that your dad has a lot of wisdom. I don't know how much I should credit him with because I'm just going to project my own things on him, but I think that he is absolutely right. I don't think that you need a word as strong as passion necessarily, but at the very least, a genuine interest is, I would say, a very important factor, not just for the company that you are working for and your coworkers, but for yourself as well. So the reason why I say that software engineering is such a it really requires at least some level of interest in the thing is because if you don't have the interest to learn enough to do it well, you're going to hate it more and more. The better you get at it, the more fun and stimulating it's going to be, because when you get really good at it, you're going to find that your systems turn out much better and you have less stress, you have less performance anxieties, you have an overall better working system. I mean, it's never perfect, but it works better and better. And if you can take those small moments of personal victory when something's kind of just works out. You did this little thing and it really, really went well, and now you can actually work a little bit faster, or reduce the amount of bugs, or improve the performance, or something like that. These things are the things that are good signs that the product is moving in the right direction. What I like to say is that the heart and soul of every IT company is the quality of the code base, at least in the engineering department. If you want happy programmers, they need to have a nice project because it is emotionally taxing to work on a shitty code base. It mentally damages developers. People can actually get depressed from working in an environment where the code is shit, management doesn't care, and they are just basically forced all the time to just do these sorts of things that they don't really want to, and it just feels bad. It's like asking an artist to make really bad art. It's soul crushing. And if you are a developer who's not really passionate, you don't really give a shit, you will help create that situation. It's not just your fault, because there's another aspect to it, but you will definitely be one of the people who is helping. And if your dad has actually understood that, I think he's one of the wise. You should hug him extra hard and thank him for this piece of advice, because it is true wisdom. Because he understands that if he works on these projects and he doesn't really care, he's actually going to feel worse and worse, because his decisions are going to be bad ones, because he most likely is going to make the project worse, worsening his own situation and that of everybody else, and then it spirals. And that downward spiral, the legacy spiral, is the worst fucking thing in the world for a software developer. The other part of it, though, which I think should not be forgotten, this is not just something that can be caused by unmotivated programmers. It can also be caused by overly motivated programmers, or overly passionate programmers. I like to call them the philosophers. These are very dangerous as well, because they are the reverse. What they are constantly on the lookout for it's new tools, new ideas, new processes, new something. It doesn't really matter whether or not you have a problem that actually is where this is going to be useful, because even if you don't have a problem, just as soon as you hear about this cool new thing that makes you emotionally invested in it, you're going to invent that problem. You're going to find it. I promise you're going to find it. I've seen it a million times before. Someone goes to a tech conference, or somebody goes to whatever, right? They get one good pitch from some IT company or some person who goes up on stage, and all of a sudden they realize that we have exactly this problem, even if we don't. And now we're all about that thing, and all of a sudden we're adding service meshes for no reason, or we're gonna do micro frontends or whatever. Like immediately, as soon as the concept lands in their lap, that's the new thing. That's what we're gonna do now. that also leads to the same sort of problem. In some cases, it can work out if you do it well, but in many cases, you find that this is also one of those things that is going to be equally bad for the health of the code base. And that is why I will promise you that the second that I get to have any influence above my station in terms of what are we going to bet on, like what should we do, and so forth, I'm going to be the most horrible person for the people who are really unmotivated and for the people who are overly motivated. I'm going to be the boring pragmatist because I truly believe it, because I've seen it without fail in every single company. It is the red thread for every company. The second the code base starts to rot too much and the system becomes unreliable or unperformant, or the code is messy or things like that, the mood of the entire company gets affected. In other words, the best thing is actually to make the really enthusiastic programmers a little bit disappointed because they can't just pick whatever they want. You can give them a range of things that are safe to bet on, that right, kids, go and play around with these tools, use these things, that's okay, it's going to be super fun. No, you can't have that lollipop, it's not good for you, but you can have these things here, they are very good as well and not so bad for you. That's okay, because I know that if I give you the lollipop, you're gonna love me right now, and then you're gonna hate everything about everything when you have diabetes. And to the programmers who are unmotivated and don't really like to do anything and just want to stay home and play video games, to tell them, all right, it's okay, you don't have to be super enthusiastic about sports like all the other kids, but I'm expecting you to, at the very least, once a day, to go out for a walk for an hour, and then you can play video games the rest of the day. That's what I'm telling you. And they're gonna moan and they're gonna bitch about it, but I am there. Well, I'm there to help them. That is my job. I'm not there to just make them happy. So what I want you to take away from this is that if your dad has realized that programmers who code without any type of passion and don't really care, that's a very unhealthy spiral that will start. He's a very wise man, and you should listen to him because he is absolutely right. Because if you are continuously making decisions where you're kind of like, yeah, I don't really care, it doesn't really matter, you will continuously make poor decisions, and it's very likely that the code base will rot, and that will actually worsen your own work environment. So it's a spiral. You don't care enough, and then you have a worse and worse situation because you don't care about fixing the thing. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. Same thing goes for the other's perspective, where you have people who want to push it to the absolute limit all the time, and they're going to add things, and they're going to create a worse and worse situation, and then the same thing happens. And the one thing that you can take to the bank is that every single company has the exact same situation. The state of the system is the heart and soul of the mood of the entire engineering department, and in many cases it's even further. It goes up to sales and so forth, because trust me, nothing is as frustrating to business people or to stakeholders, to anybody, than having an unreliable system where it's full of bugs, it's really slow to get things done, it's a hazard to work with, all that stuff. And all of these things happen if you don't understand how to maintain and create a healthy project. And that is why you need people who are pragmatic and enthusiastic, and actually interested in their craft. Have a great day.